This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine,
let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm Bishop William Byrne, inviting you to radiate the light of Christ by making a gift to the annual Catholic Appeal. The ministries and agencies supported with your generosity help thousands of our neighbors throughout Western Massachusetts. On behalf of the people we serve, thank you. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
The 40 Days for Life campaign starts next week. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story coming up.
From a dope dealer to a hope dealer, meet Tim Adams, a man who turned his life around inside the Franklin County House of Correction.
And Nick Borganelli takes us to the Big E in West Springfield, where fairgoers have the opportunity to fulfill their Sunday obligation. These stories are coming your way next on Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel as we begin the beautiful season of fall, which is also the time set aside for the 40 Days for Life. This biannual event is just around the corner, running September 27th through November 5th, and calls on Catholics and all people committed to life to publicly give witness for the sanctity of human life. But if this is to be successful, volunteers are needed once again this fall. As Carolee McGrath reports, this peaceful witness makes a difference.
Deacon Ted Tudrin and his wife Elizabeth spend most of their mornings out on the sidewalks near Planned Parenthood in downtown Springfield, praying for an end to abortion.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
They are a visible sign to women in crisis, and they want to encourage others to join them during the upcoming 40 Days for Life campaign, which runs September 27th through November 5th.
I've been actually more committed down here, since now I'm not a deacon attached to a church. I have more flexibility to spend more time down here and to spread the word to other parishes or encourage other people to participate.
The couple raised 4 children and are grandparents. Elizabeth is a nurse and understands the science behind abortion.
And they're trying to even say that's not a human and that's not a life, and it is a life. And I got a calling from, I feel, Mother Mary for me to do this. So that's why it's so important to me.
The Pro-Life campaign is an ecumenical effort which relies on peaceful, prayerful witness in front of the abortion clinic. Reports state close to 23,500 babies have been saved from abortion since the launch of the international campaign in 2007.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee, blessed art thou.
Father Dan Pekalik is the pastor of Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Westfield and the director of pro-life activities for the diocese.
40 Days gives all of us an opportunity who believe in the importance of supporting life to do something very proactively in support of life. For some, it may be more intense prayer before the Blessed Sacrament, offering a rosary daily during the 40 days. But for others, it's an actual opportunity to stand up and stand out for our faith and the belief that life is precious and that if we don't speak, who will?
Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament parishioner Caroline Zazotek is willing to speak. She just had her 4th baby, baby Theo. The life issue is an emotional one for the wife and mother. She miscarried 2 years ago.
If I could do anything to, bring her back or to have changed what had happened, I would have. I would give my life, to have her back.
Caroline has participated in the 40 Days for Life before and prays other expectant moms will recognize the gift of their pregnancy.
It's hard, just knowing how much how hard it was for me to lose. I just couldn't imagine making that choice because I would have done anything to change that.
While the public witness can sometimes feel awkward, it's necessary because moms in crisis need to know that abortion is not their only option and that their children should never be reduced to a choice. There are several pro-life centers in the diocese which will walk with moms in need to help them through their pregnancy and beyond. They include Bethlehem House in East Hampton, Clearway Clinic in Springfield, and New Direction in Pittsfield, to name a few. All can be found on the Diocesan Respect Life page. As far as the effectiveness of the public witness, locally organizers confirmed 26 babies have been spared from abortion through the years. but there are likely many more.
I just want to say about making a difference. I had a concrete example the other day. At the other entrance, I was standing on the sidewalk, and it's like a voice told me, just stand there and look at the building and pray. And all of a sudden I saw a truck, and the truck was facing me, and it was a man and woman in there. And I could tell she looked distraught, and the man was just sitting there. And so I kept standing there for 20 minutes praying, and then finally they drove out, and the man gave me a very negative response, and they drove away. So I know I saved a baby. I know in my heart we're saving kids.
To sign up as an individual or to adopt a day as a parish, go to 40daysforlife.com. Reporting for Reel to Reel in Springfield, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And another inspiring event coming up in just a few weeks is the annual Eucharistic Rosary Congress, which will be again held at the National Shrine of Divine Mercy in Stockbridge. The 7-day and night event in Our Lady of Mercy Oratory at the shrine is part of a national response to Our Lady of Fatima's call to conversion, consecration, and prayer. And joining me now with more is Jean Pollock, organizer of the Congress. Hi, Jean. Thanks for being with us today.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
Well, we are happy to have you here to tell everyone the great news that you will be again holding a days-long event dedicated to the Rosary. And tell us about it. What will be happening?
Well, this is actually a nationwide event, but our diocesan Rosary Congress is being hosted by the National Shrine of the Divine Mercy here in Stockbridge. We're starting on October 7th, which is the Feast of the Most Holy Rosary, with a Mass at 9 a.m. and then a Eucharistic procession to the oratory, which is where the 7 days of exposition of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament will be held around the clock. So it ends on the 13th, which is the anniversary of Our Lady of Fatima. And as you know, as Catholics, where there's exposition of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, we need people there. So this is a plea for you to go to the little QR code and sign up to join us, because this is our Diocesan Rosary Congress. It's for you, me, everybody in our diocese and around.
Now, why is this so vital to the life of the Church?
Well, as you know, we're the Church militant, and prayer is our greatest weapon. The Rosary is our sword. The scapular is our shield. So I trust that everyone has their scapular. If not, go get one. And Jesus says, where two or more are gathered in my name, I am in their midst. Mother Teresa says, if you have anything you need, go to Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. That's what we're doing for 7 days. We are in probably the most important battle that the world and the Church has ever seen for souls. So it's a super important week in the world, both in the secular world as well as in the Church.
All right, Jean Pollock, thanks so much. And for those wanting to attend, we will post all of the details at iobserve.org. Finding God in your life can be a truly transformative experience. For more than 40 years now, Residents Encounter Christ Jail Ministry has worked with inmates throughout Western Massachusetts by providing 3-day retreats in the jails. Teams of volunteers share the message that God loves us, all of us, and His mercy is greater than our sins. Tim Adams took part in one of those retreats, and it transformed his life forever. Kathy Harrington brings us now his inspiring and faith-filled story.
And I got down on my knees in front of everybody and I cried, and I asked God to help me, and I asked God to get me through this time of my life in front of like 30 people.
Tim Adams was an addict and in jail facing drug charges, including possession of heroin and marijuana with intent to distribute. His opioid habit beginning with his mother's Percocet prescription and escalating to heroin after her death in 2016.
That kind of lifestyle's tough to be in. And once your addiction gets to a point where you need so much just to be normal, you can't afford it. So I started selling to support my habit.
It wasn't the life he planned. The youngest of 4 children, Adam's life dream started on the baseball field.
I played baseball. I was captain of my high school baseball team. I was a pitcher, left-handed. I played in all types of other, leagues, Babe Ruth and fall ball.
Pitching in high school led to pitching in college, where he was a computer systems major. But Adams didn't graduate. Returning to Greenfield, Adams eventually landed a good job as a computer operator, but his drinking and pot smoking led to more trouble.
And I got into cocaine. I got caught for selling cocaine. Went to jail the first time for cocaine. Did 15 months out of a 2.5-year sentence. Got out, did parole, was doing great, and then I got hired back at the company I was working for before I went in. It was the Northampton Gazette. I also was taking care of my mom at the time because she had COPD and she had degenerative disc disease in her back. So she ended up getting Percocet for her pain, and I started taking the pills too.
Along the way, Adams became a dad, a milestone he yearned for, in part because he was raised by a single mother.
I always wanted to be a dad before 30. That's what I always said when I was a kid. And not having a dad in your life regularly, that has a big effect. And I know because I'm a father now.
Adams was still able to function, taking care of his children and his mother, and making it to work, until...
It wasn't recreational anymore. I had an addiction, and I couldn't stop because if I did, I would have to stop doing everything in life. I mean, when you get sick, when you don't have opiates, you can't function.
On a Tuesday morning in May 2019, he walked out of his house and was surrounded by police. Tim says his arrest and incarceration could have taken him down a very different road, but he credits the Franklin County House of Correction and its one-of-a-kind program that offers the tools necessary for an inmate to change his life. And it did.
I went to jail that night, and I knew it was going to be rough. I mean, I had been on opiates for 12 years. 12 years without stopping. They brought me into medical. I told them I didn't want anything.
Adams says the next 11 days were rough and memorable as he detoxed hard. And then a friend who was also in jail extended an invitation.
He said, "Hey, do you want to come to a Bible study?" It was a Friday night. And I'm like, I got nothing else to do, and I'm so bored. And honestly, the clock will not go fast enough. Like, time literally stands still when you're in that detox.
The Bible study was a Catholic retreat led by Residents Encounter Christ. The group was made up of Blessed Sacrament parishioners, Deacon John Leary and his wife Donna, beginning with 3 hours on Friday night, followed by 12 hours on Saturday. Adams admits he didn't plan to return the next day, but he told Donna he'd be back. On Saturday, the Bart Millard movie, I Can Only Imagine, was shown.
My dad was a monster, and I saw God transform him.
And then Donna Leary spoke.
She said, "We do all this for you guys, our parish helps, everything we do. If we can just save one of you guys in this room, just one, it makes the whole retreat worth it." But I had a feeling it was me, that I was that one. And then all of a sudden, I felt warm, and I felt like everything was going to be okay. It's really, really odd that all the anxiety, everything I had, the shame, the guilt of being there, and everything I'd done wrong, knowing I was doing wrong and I couldn't change it, it all disappeared. It was almost like I left there new again, like totally transformed.
Before the retreat ended, a cross was passed around.
But I got down on my knee, I literally got the cross in my hand, and I started to feel like I was gone. All my emotions came back at once. And the thing about being on opiates, you feel dead inside.
Adams calls May 25th his spiritual birthday. Each following Saturday, he attended Mass in the library and the Bible study that followed.
About, I think it was August, second week, maybe third week of August, where Deacon John did a homily. He was talking about the communion and the Holy Eucharist, and he said, you know, the body and blood of Jesus, that's something that you want to have inside you all the time. You want to take that every week. Jesus will actually live inside of you. And all of a sudden a light bulb went off. Like, I want to live with Jesus in me all the time. And that was it. It was as simple as that. And I said, you know what? I want to be Catholic.
In September, Adams was baptized, and he made his first communion. He made his first confession in December, shortly before heading to the state prison in Walpole. Since the retreat here at the Franklin County House of Correction, Tim had Jesus in his life. He prayed, he read the Bible, and attended Mass every chance he could. But until he was released from jail, Tim had never entered a Catholic church, God's house.
The day I walked out, I had a paper bag and nothing to my name. And I was a whole new person. And I didn't have anything, but I had everything.
What's it like to walk into God's house?
It's like coming home. It's like being exactly where you're supposed to be. I don't know why more people don't do it. And it's my job as a Christian to share the good news and to tell my story. And that's partly why I'm doing this interview, because you can change. It is possible. It's hard, especially the life that I came out of.
Adams has completed his parole, and his transformation continues, joining the Knights of Columbus and working 2 jobs, raising his daughters, and now engaged to be married, and attending AA meetings 2 to 3 times a week. In North Canaan, Connecticut, I'm Kathy Harrington for Reel to Reel.
And the rec programs held in each of our county jails is supported by the annual Catholic Appeal. If you haven't made your gift yet, it's not too late. We have a link to make your secure gift on our website, diospringfield.org. And still to come on this edition of Reel to Reel, Springfield Bishop William Byrne was at the Vatican earlier this month, meeting with fellow new bishops. We'll hear all about what he learned and about his meeting with Pope Francis. And Nick Morganelli takes us to the Big E, where faithful fairgoers and workers are able to attend Mass before spending a Sunday at the fair. It's all still to come on Reel to Reel.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
just finished this today,
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
Earlier this month, Bishop William Byrne attended a Vatican course for new bishops that concluded with an audience with Pope Francis. Joining me now with all the highlights is Bishop Byrne. Hi, Bishop Byrne. Great to have you with us again.
Hi, Sharon. It's great to be with you as always.
So you were at the Vatican for an orientation with your fellow new bishops, 114 of them from all over the world. Is it true the unofficial name for this gathering is Baby Bishop School? And if so, you have been a bishop now for almost 3 years. What was your experience like?
So yes, it's unofficially called Baby Bishop School. And many of the bishops, or most of the bishops, have been bishops less than a year. Because of COVID and then a wedding, I was not able to attend the last couple of years. And as was the case with my dear friend Bishop Vedder from Helena, Montana. So we were both in the same situation. It was an interesting time to hear from the various heads of the Vatican dicasteries or departments, and to give an orientation, which was always fascinating, regardless how long I've been a bishop.
And I can imagine the highlight must have been meeting the Holy Father. I read on your Instagram page that you took home some marching orders. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, the Holy Father was really remarkable. Gave the 114 of us 2 hours of questions and answers, and but it's clear that his message, that he believes that we're going to bring people home through God's love, God's mercy, God's kindness. And those are all of our marching orders, is to bring people home with God's love.
Also, you've returned home to a very busy diocese this fall, not the least of which will be a priest convocation coming up in October. Tell us a little about this 3-day gathering of our diocesan priests.
this priest convocation is really important, just as a time for the priest to get away, to reconnect with one another, to spend some relaxed time, to pray together, but also to be renewed. So we're going to have some great speaker, and hopefully the men will come back to their parishes with renewed vigor and the joy of the priesthood.
And you're asking the laity to support this convocation through prayer?
The prayers of the laity are so important for this time. Hopefully you're praying for your priest every single day, but in this time of convocation, I ask you to up your game in praying for our priests who are so generous and so good, so giving, that they be renewed in God's Spirit in this time away.
Sounds like it will be just the perfect event for all of our hardworking priests here in the diocese. Thanks so much, Bishop, for all you're doing here for the faithful in Western Massachusetts. And before we let you go, we want to wish you a happy birthday, which is coming up this week.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I still look so good for being 59. So Sharon, thank you very much, and I'll accept your prayers also for my birthday.
Now we have a sneak peek at an upcoming movie release on the life of Saint Teresa of Calcutta.
You're pregnant, young lady.
What should I do?
Rest for a bit. You still have time to think about it.
You'll have to have an abortion.
I know.
You can't keep it.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. Kavita, oh my God. Deepali. You knew her quite well, didn't you?
Mother?
Yes.
Deepali?
Most people, when in total doubt, just give up on their dreams. But she didn't.
I need to take dying people off the streets. You have to give me a place for them. Now.
Some Hindus might not accept you. They might suspect you want to convert them.
If you want to destroy this place, take me and kill me instead.
Darkness. That's all I can see.
What do I need to know, for Christ's sake?
We just wanted to protect you.
I was so wrong with so many things.
I'm lost, Father. Why does Jesus not love me anymore?
Are you here to save humanity or just yourself?
Faith might be obscured by the clouds of doubt.
I don't know how long I will have the strength to live without faith, without love.
And in Western Massachusetts, Mother Teresa and Me will be shown on October 5th at 7 p.m. at both the West Springfield and Enfield Cinemark theaters. For a complete listing of all theaters, we have a link at iobserve.org. The Big E in West Springfield is in full swing, bustling with fairgoers and employees. And for those wanting to fulfill their Sunday Mass obligation while attending or working at the fair, they can do just that. Working with the diocese and local parishes, there are 2 Sunday liturgies available each weekend of the fair. Nick Morganelli was at the Bishop's recent Mass and shows us the goodness of God at this year's Great New England State Fair.
The Big E is certainly an epicenter of fun and activities, but if you're looking, you can find the goodness of God there too. It's heard in the roar of the glass blower's furnace and in the hooves of the Clydesdales. It's seen in the beauty of the fair's natural setting and in the farm animals too. And it can be found in the celebration of the Holy Mass on Sundays at 8 and 10 a.m.
Good morning, good morning.
On the first Sunday of the Big E this year, Bishop William Byrne was the celebrant for the Mass for the workers of the fair.
Big E is always so much fun, such a great celebration, brings so many people joy and cream puffs. And it's great that they provide, Gene Cassidy, the CEO, provides Mass actually twice on a Sunday. Once for all the workers here, and I was really privileged to be able to do that this morning. And then the one in the circus tent.
The Big E has a long history of great food, agriculture, entertainment, and many more things. And one thing you can always count on is that Catholic Mass on Sunday mornings, which has been celebrated here for decades.
The Chalice of Salvation used to have a live Mass right here on Storyton Village Green. Later on, we needed more capacity. We moved to the Court of Honor stage in the center of the fairgrounds. Then last year to the circus tent, which is a wonderful environment.
Morning, girls.
Hey, honey. Morning, Jack. Good morning.
Jack Baker, former firefighter and employed with the Eastern States for 5 decades, feels blessed to attend Mass before attending to fairgoers.
The Big E in the church helps us out and makes it easier for us, and it's great because it gets busy down here, so the earlier we can get going, the better. That was an extra benefit this morning. It's always nice to say hello to the bishop, because he's a busy man, so it's hard to get in touch with him. So, yeah, it's great.
We're so lucky the Diocese of Springfield supports the faith community here that's on the fairgrounds. And the Bishop's Mass at the Big E goes back at least 50 years. Bishop Byrne this year, he said, Gene, I want to celebrate Mass for the workers.
Gene Cassidy agrees that the goodness of God is woven into the fabric of the Big E each year in many ways.
We celebrate humanity. I use the term very often. The fair is the American way of life. The Christian values of the American work ethic in farming, agriculture, the entrepreneurial spirit of the people who are here with products, and God is everywhere. And we take pride in being able to deliver Catholic Mass in order to inspire folks, hopefully back to the church.
After Sunday morning worship, the goodness of God can also be found in all the fun and excitement the fair offers.
We have a full lineup of entertainment, top name talent every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night at our arena stage, the Court of Honor stage. We have a brand new venue called Dolly's Honky Tonk, where there's actually a mechanical bull you can ride, and line dancing lessons and country bands. So it's actually a ton of fun. We have 68 brand new foods here at the exposition.
You think about people's need for God. There's a hunger. People maybe are unaware of what they're hungry for. It comes from Christ, and you need to be fed. In addition to cream puffs, you can get fed with the Holy Spirit on the grounds of the Big E.
Satisfying hunger of all kinds and finding the goodness of God at the Big E. For Real to Real, I'm Nick Morganelli.
Always so much to see and do at the Big E, and what a perfect way to start the day with Mass. We're so grateful to the Big E CEO, Gene Cassidy, and his team for facilitating these Masses. And for this week, that's Real to Real. To keep up with the latest news on the Catholic Church in Western Massachusetts and around the world, head over to iobserve.org, where we have articles written by our news staff, as well as by our partners at Our Sunday Visitor. That's iobserve.org. And we're also on Facebook at Catholic Communications. A programming note, due to NBC coverage of the Ryder Cup, Real to Real will not be seen on WWLP TV 22 next weekend. All others will enjoy a best of edition. And also, next Sunday, set your clocks for 5 a.m. as the Chalice of Salvation will air at that time on WWLP TV 22, also due to the Ryder Cup. I'll see you back here in 2 weeks for another edition of Real to Real, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.